All right, so we're going to talk about the graphing calculators here now. I'm going to show you how to work the graphing calculators in the context of Chapter 3, Pre-Cal 20 here. So we just did a question here, number 14, okay, and we did not use graphing technology to do this. You don't really need to, but I will go back and I will cover how to do this, find these important aspects on the calculator. So first of all, what you need to know about the calculator is there is an upside down no button at the bottom left, and you want to push that upside down no button to wake this thing up.
Oh.
Okay? Now, if you are on some kind of graph screen like this, do you guys get the joke or no?
Yes.
No?
Unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Yes or on? Which one? Okay. Forget it. So if you're on a graph screen or something like that, hit second function mode. That's the quit function. See, quit. If you want to get rid of this, just hit clear. Okay? Clear. There's clear.
How do you find that graph?
How do you find what? The graph? There's a graph button here.
Oh.
Now, if this is from another class here, Pre-Cal 30 I just did, and so the inputs for these graphs are in the y equals right here, y equals. So go to y equals. If you have something in there right now, those are the things that are being graphed on the calculator. You want to hit clear and then cursor down, clear, and just make sure everything is cleared off. Okay? Also, please make sure that your plots are off. This is bad. Okay? If any of these are highlighted, that's bad. Go up there, hit enter, that deselects plot. Okay?
What does that do?
That plots points that you might have programmed in lists here,
Oh.
which conflict with the graphs. A lot of times you get errors, so make sure those are off for this purpose.
We just go on and enter.
Okay, so now that we're at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to input a function into the graph. Let's take a look at this 14, and let's say I wanted to put this function into the graph. So what I would do, a couple things, 0.3, okay, now the n here, that's the input variable. This is the key right here, x comma t comma theta comma n. That is your input variable. It will show up as an x by default. So yes, this is, you can't get it to be n, that is the same as n. Squared button is over here. If you need anything above a squared, this is the exponent button to the power of right here, this little hat. Okay, little pointy hat. So minus, okay, very important, very, very important. These are the operations on the far right, okay? This is minus. This is negative. The calculator understands these to be different. They are not interchangeable. So if you have a negative something at the beginning of an expression, you push this button, negative as the first term. If it's something minus something, you have to push this button, okay? Calculator doesn't like you to interchange those.
That's a subtraction.
It says subtraction right here. So you put subtraction. 0.3x squared minus. Okay, 48.6, that's pretty straightforward. 48.6 plus, over here, the operations. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, I missed the x. Thank you. X plus, or n there. Yeah, thank you, plus 13,500. Okay, double check. All right. So what you're going to do now is you're going to hit graph, and most likely nothing's going to show up. Why is that? It's because no, it's not because the graphing calculators suck. It's because that we have our window settings are way off. Now, if you hit zoom button right here in the top middle, zoom, you can zoom to standard, that's 6. That gives you a standard 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 window, okay? Most functions will show up if you do zoom 6. Not this one. Why not this one? The y-intercept is what? 13,500. It's haywire here. Okay, look at this. It's huge. So that means the y-intercept, I have to show beyond 13,500 on my y. So you go to now window. Let me see that again. Window. Go down to, cursor down here to y max. We need to make this like way more than 13,000. Let's make it 15,000. So that's going to totally whack out our graph. But let's see what that looks like. Hit graph. Hey, there we go. So I just extended the y maximum so that I could see it. You see that? This is sick. Yeah, this is sick, man. This is totally awesome. I've got like a telephone pole here, man, with like an electrical wire on there. It's amazing. Awesome. Okay. Okay, couple other things we want to adjust on the window setting because we can't make a negative number of things in this question. So guess what? We don't need to see a negative x at all. So let's make this 0 or -1 or something that's close to 0, but you can put 0 because we're only interested in the positive x. Okay, hit graph again, see what happens. Oh, there we go. See that? Did someone say, oh, that's so cute? Really? What about this is cute? Okay, all right. It's like a caterpillar? Oh, it is cute. I didn't see that. Okay. I'm stretching my cuteness here. I don't see how that's cute, but I'm glad you think that that's great. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Not judgment, just really honest, confusion. Okay. So this is a parabola. It's really flat. I don't know that I can see the vertex here. So guess what? I'm going to have to make the x pretty big. I'm going to extend the x now. Go to Window, X max. Let's go down. What do you want to do? 150. Wow. Okay. That's huge. 150. Okay, fine. What'll that do? Well, that will significantly stretch this x, and now I can definitely see I have a parabola shape. Great. Now, if you didn't pick 150 and you just picked something like 80 or 100, then you might see, it'll stop here. You might see that, maybe I have a vertex. You want to be able to see the important parts of your graph by adjusting the window. That is, your y-intercept, pretty important. Vertex, pretty important. If this was a parabola was opening down like this, you'd want to see the x-intercepts. That's pretty important too, okay? So this, you can see the important aspects. Now, so getting the window straightened out, that's number one. Number two is trying to find the important aspects, getting your calculator to do the work for you. So I would not suggest this, hitting the trace button and just kind of like, oh, I'm going to move over here and try and get my cursor somewhere close. This is not okay to guess, okay? That looks like it's pretty close to the vertex there. If you wrote these numbers down, you would be wrong. It's close, but they're wrong. So how do we know, or how do we find the exact vertex? This is how you do it. Second function, trace. That's the calculate menu. This is uber important. If anyone even says Uber anymore, other than give me a ride. This is super important, okay? This right here. Now, you want to look for number 3, minimum. Minimum. So you either cursor down and hit enter on 3 or just press the number 3. Okay? Now look at this. Okay, so that is not the minimum. Look at what the calculator is asking you. It's saying, what is the left boundary for this minimum that you want me to find? Left boundary. So what you got to do is either move your cursor over, click, so that it's obviously to the left of where the vertex might be, and hit enter, okay? And you'll see a little marker show up there, a little marker. That means that's the left boundary of the search area that the calculator is going to use to find the vertex. Now it'll say right bound. Okay, use your cursor. Or the other thing you could do is type in a number like, I know that 100, I think 100 is going to be on the other side of the vertex. There you go. So you can type in a number 2, all right, as well. So now that I have the left boundary and the right boundary set, I am now going to get my calculator to guess or to determine the vertex. Now, when it says guess, don't be led astray saying, oh, is the calculator just going to like guess and I want the exact answer? Well, the calculator is actually guessing between like 1,000,000 points in that little area. So it's technically a guess, but it's going to be very, very, very accurate. So we can trust this. And you just hit simply enter once more. And then the calculator will think for half a second, and it will show you on the screen where the vertex is, and it will give you the vertex coordinate. Now, look at notice here. Notice it says 81.000006. So if yours, okay, listen. If yours is 80.999993 or something, it's the calculator is. That's basically you can say this is exactly 81. Remember, the calculator is picking like between millions or billions of points. A line is consistent of an infinite number of points. So it is determining a point, one of a billion little points in this little area. So yeah, so anything like this, if you have 3 or 4 zeros, it's just 81. If it's 70 or 80.99999, that's 81. Okay? All right? So here we go. For this question, number 14 that we did, the vertex is 81 and 11, 531.7, which we determined here. We determined here before as well.
Oh.
Hey, see? It's the same point.
Oh.
See that? Yeah. Now, how do we find the y-intercept? Y-intercept is easy, okay? Y-intercept is easy. Just hit second function, calculate again, and then just hit enter for 0. Okay, so just hit enter, and it'll ask you for a value, and you simply put x equals 0, enter, and it will show you the y-intercept right here. See? 13,500. Once more, second function, calculate, just enter a value. Say it's 0, and then boom.
Oh, wow.
Second function trace is the calculate menu. Second function trace right here. Yeah. 0. Now, I think if you just type in 0, nope, that doesn't work. It has to be graph. You have to do the second function calculate. Okay. One more thing I'm going to show you. But I'm going to turn this around to a. A negative. Oh, insert negative here, and I'm going to delete this -3. So this graph here now. Look at this. I just kind of turned this around. I'm going to change the window. No, actually, I'm not going to change the window. If you want to follow me on this, just make this a -3x squared. If you want to override things, just type in numbers. It'll override. It'll overwrite. If you want to insert, you have to press second function, delete. That's insert, and then it will move everything over to put something in there. So, just so you know. If you want to override something, just type over top of. Move your cursor. Type over top of it. If you want to insert, second function, delete is the insert function. Hit. Y equals. This is how you get to the function screen. Y equals. Yeah, that's how I got back to here. Good. Any other questions? No. Okay, good. So let's go back to the graph, and you see this. All right. Now, in order to find an intercept, you're going to want to find this point right here, where the graph touches the x-axis, or where there's a 0 to the function. I believe that you might have to show the other side of the intercept here. So you might have to do this with your. Sorry, y minimum. Oh yeah, it should show it, but this is a big number, right? So let's go like 1,000 or something like that, so that we can see. Hardly show it. Okay, you can't really see it. Anyways, I think this should work, but let's make this. Oh, I did positive. Sorry. So this should be y minimum. Let's make it negative, and let's make it negative 15,000. Okay, so that we have the graph that looks like this. So for your window, make your y minimum negative 15,000, as your y maximum is 15,000, okay? So then it should look something like this. All right, so what you want to do here now is you want to do second function trace, the calculate menu. Again, very, very important. And we're going to use number 2. Number 2 is to find the 0 of the function, the 0. So this is the 0 of the function I want the calculator to determine for me. So it's going to ask for a left boundary again. So I need to move the cursor to the left of where the x-intercept is that I'm trying to look for. Then I'm going to hit enter.
Like anywhere left?
Yeah, anywhere left. That's right, anywhere left. See, you're just putting a marker up, telling the calculator, hey, I want you to look to the right of this. And then you go over here, and when you get kind of to the right of the intercept, you hit enter again. It'll put another marker on your screen, see? And so the calculator is going to look for an x-intercept somewhere between those markers. Yeah?
Is it better to like have the left and right bound points to be closer to where you're
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if these are close or far. The only thing that would matter is if you have more than one intercept in between those markers, that's a problem. So you just kind of want to have your markers so there's only one intercept in between those boundaries. And then we'll hit enter for a third time, and then it will give you your 0. So for this equation that we pumped in here, the 0 is 59.469298, or something like that, 59.47. This is a new equation from this is not number 14 anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, 0 will find the x-intercepts. Yeah. Yeah, if you had two functions and you wanted to find the intersection point, then you would use the intersect here.
Wait, so how would you find the y-intercept?
Y-intercept, you're going to just hit value there, and then type in
Oh,
x
right,
equals
right.
0. Yeah, and then that'll give you the y-intercept. It'll show it to you. Any other questions here? Okay, let's see. So I'm just looking at your textbook here. This is the summary for 3.2. And here's the graph. So obviously you know how to find the vertex now, right? You would put up little markers. You would find maximum. You want to find the maximum. Put a left boundary here, a right boundary over here somewhere, and then get the calculator to guess, and it'll give you this vertex. The x-intercepts, put a little marker to the left of the x-intercept, put a little marker to the right of the intercept, get it to guess for this right here. Y-intercept, x equals 0. Value, x equals 0, will give you the y-intercept there. Axis of symmetry, well, that's just the x value of the vertex, right? So, and that can be found, you know, graphing calculator, or x equals negative b over 2a, right? When your equation is in standard form. All right, so that's the graphing calculator bit. Any other questions about the graphing calculator and finding those important aspects of the... Okay, I guess maybe what I will just say too is it doesn't have to be in standard form, but what it does have to be is your equation has to be solved for y. So if you have something like this, and I don't think you will in this section at all, in this chapter even, but if you have something like 3y minus 2x equals 5, and you're trying to graph this as a line, on your graphing calculator, you have to solve for y first. So you'd have to do some math first, and then plug this in to your calculator, and then it'll work. So you have to solve for y first, because that's why you see on this screen, it's y equals, y equals, y equals.
So if you have a bunch of those equations, would it show all the lines?
Yes, yeah, if you have a bunch of equations, it'll show all the lines, you bet. So you have one like that, and you have, yeah, so this might not show up because the numbers are so big. Yeah, the numbers are so big here, so it won't show up. But if I do zoom 6 to get back to a standard window, it should eventually, so there's the second one I did, there's the third one that I did. So yeah, it'll just graph as many as you pump in there. Okay? Good, any other questions?
Is that free on the computer?
Hang on.